India says its nuclear program is purely peaceful. It says it is about clean energy, development and climate goals.
Today, at 15:45 hours, India conducted 3 underground nuclear tests in the Pokhran range.
Here's a legitimate question. If everything is safe, secure and purely civilian, why do thefts of radioactive material keep surfacing?
A suspected advanced synthetic radioactive material was recovered from the house of a TMC leader in northern Bengal.
Police in Maharashtra arrested 2 persons and seized around 9 kilograms of depleted uranium.
Why does investment keep rising year after year while regulatory transparency does not? And there's another question that follows logically. If the program is entirely civilian, why is it not open to full comprehensive inspection by the International Atomic Energy Agency, the global body mandated to verify nuclear safety and civilian use? Today, we're not making allegations, we're laying out facts, timelines, and documented cases and allowing the record to speak for itself. Nuclear energy is not like any other source of power. It involves radioactive material that can harm human health, contaminate land and water for decades, and pose serious security risks if misused. That is why nuclear programs worldwide operate under stricter standards of control, accounting, and independent oversight. Even small lapses matter. Even low-grade radioactive material, if stolen or mishandled, can cause real harm. Globally, the IAEA exists for this very reason, to verify that civilian nuclear programs remain civilian, to track nuclear material, and to reduce the risk of diversion, loss, or misuse. Many countries with nuclear energy programs, including Pakistan, allow full-scope safeguards, meaning all nuclear facilities fall under international monitoring. However, India does not. India's safeguard arrangement with the IAEA applies only to selected civilian facilities and not to the entire nuclear program. This is not a secret, it is a matter of record. But as investment and scale grow, this limitation becomes increasingly relevant. Now let's look at India's investment trajectory. So over the past several years, India's nuclear spending has steadily increased following a clearly upward trajectory. From around 11,500 crores in 2019-20, allocations have risen almost every year. By 24-25, spending crossed 16,000 crores. In 25-26, it moved beyond 20,000 crores with the launch of a dedicated nuclear energy mission. At the same time, the sector has been open to private and foreign participation. Long-term targets now point to 100 gigawatts of nuclear capacity by 2047. So what does this mean? This means more reactors, more nuclear fuel, more transport, more storage, more waste every year. The question is not whether India has the right to invest. The question is whether oversight and security are scaling at the same pace. Over the past 3 decades, multiple incidents involving stolen, lost, or illegally possessed radioactive material have been documented inside India. This is not one isolated incident. It is a recurring pattern. In the 1990s and early 2000s, several cases of uranium theft and loss were reported involving material later recovered from unauthorized individuals. In 2006, a container carrying radioactive material was reported stolen in Jharkhand, prompting warnings about radiation risk. In 2013, reports emerged of uranium ore found in the possession of militants in eastern India. In 2016, depleted uranium was seized during an illegal transaction in Maharashtra. In 2021, separate arrests in Maharashtra and Jharkhand led to the seizure of several kilograms of natural uranium confirmed as radioactive by Indian laboratories. In 2024, arrests in Bihar involved californium, an extremely rare and highly radioactive substance. Now, these are not rumors. They are police seizures and documented investigations. Any one of these incidents could be dismissed as an exception. However, taken together, they raise a broader question about material tracking and control. And that is why analysts increasingly ask, if radioactive material is repeatedly slipping outside controlled environments, wouldn't a full-scope international inspection help strengthen confidence rather than weaken sovereignty? This brings us back to oversight. India is not a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and its IAEA safeguards are facility-specific rather than comprehensive. Its nuclear regulator does not enjoy the level of institutional independence seen in many other nuclear states. As nuclear investment accelerates, these structural limitations matter more and not less. So let's be clear, this is not an accusation, it is record. A record of rising year-on-year nuclear investment, a record of repeated theft and seizure incidents, and a record of limited international verification. The question that remains is straightforward. If the program is truly peaceful and purely civilian, why not allow full IAEA inspection to remove doubt rather than invite suspicion? Because when it comes to nuclear risk, transparency is not a concession. It is the strongest assurance a state can offer. And now to discuss the developments and how India is reacting, we are being joined by Dr. Zafar Nawaz Jaspal, nuclear expert. Dr. Saab, pleasure having you here with us. Dr. Saab, I'll start off by asking you that there have been repeated cases of radioactive material theft inside India. How serious would you see these incidents when seen through the global nuclear safety and non-proliferation standards?
You are correct that there are various, you can say, incidents which Indian government itself admitted. We are not making just you can say, false stories or fictitious or concocted kind of things. When we say any theft or any mismanagement or any kind of a reasoning, missing of a material from the lab, whether it's a chemical, whether it's a, you can say, medical lab, power generation, you can say, facility, or agriculture research lab. Any material which is missing from these things, it means it's some kind of a weakness or lapse in the safety of the plant or facility. It caused a great concern because that material is very much radioactive. Recently, when there was an incident, the material was smuggled towards the Nepal and it was captured. So it means that it's not only a mishandling at the lab that we call it safety, but it is also security concern that the material is now moving out of the lab and moving out of the country. That is a radioactive material. We have not to forget that when we look about the chemical, biological, nuclear and radiological terrorism, so such a material which you referred or which have been documented that could be used for the nuclear terrorism or radiological terrorism. Naturally, it's a big concern for the Indians themselves as well as the neighboring states and international community.
So this brings me to my next question because repeatedly India has been making allegations that Pakistan's nuclear program is not safe. But if you look at the latest Nuclear Threat Initiative and Nuclear Security Index, that ranks Pakistan ahead of India as a nuclear in terms of nuclear indicators. Now, does this independent global assessment effectively, would you say, debunk India's long-standing claims, and should New Delhi now reconsider its narrative in light of these findings, in light of these indexes?
You are correct that since the years we have been noticed that these global security index or NTI or when they go for the global reports, they make a lot of assessments, and according to those assessments, Pakistan has been rated in a better position. We may qualify to be in a first positions in that rating, a few first position, but because we are not a member of the NPT, that's why we lose certain kind of points. But when we make a comparison with India, international community has more confidence in Pakistan's nuclear program safety and security rather than India. As you rightly pointed out earlier, that there are recorded incidents. And when you have recorded incidents, they are there. International community have been expressing its concerns about the probability of nuclear crisis in India, and they are drawing their attention, but Indians are paying lesser attention. But the reality is that what India is saying today, or what Indian print media is publishing or electronic media is publicizing, no one is paying or taking it seriously. With the passage of time, Indian media has lost its credibility. And you recall, a few years back, they made some, you can say, false stories, what to call it, these kind of things, to malign Pakistan. But because Pakistan's nuclear program's history is very much open, transparent, and according to that history, there is not even a single incident which termed that there was a lapse of safety or security. So that's why everyone knows in the international community, especially the specialists who deal with the nuclear, you can say, subject, they know that Pakistan's nuclear program's safety and security is remarkable as compared to India, and they criticize. So in that country, of course, now here your final point is that international community shall be concerned. It is concerned, but if no one is paying much attention, naturally, if any disaster in India, the biggest crisis will be for the Indians themselves and then the neighboring states. That's why we are trying to highlight that Indians shall act rationally and secure their future.
Dr. Zafar Nawaz Jaspal, it was a pleasure having you here with us, and that's all from the World Order for today. We'll see you next week.